All right, so I'm back. What's going on, y'all? No graffiti on your layout. You're wrong. I know you paid for that stuff. I know you say you want to be prototypical. If you're doing modern era and you don't have any graffiti on your layout, you're wrong. Dead wrong. I don't know, man. You can pull up on any crossing right down the street, and if a train goes by, there's going to be some graffiti. If you go to any urban area, it's going to be some graffiti somewhere, whether tags, throw-ups, you name it. Someone has vandalized a surface. I don't know, you just can't say you are so prototypical. I mean, I get so many people every time I post something, and this is not oh, they're picking on me, but it's every time I post any type of graffiti or anything like that, some old dude is on there talking about how bad they hate graffiti. It's such a crime, and we know, everyone knows that. But if you're doing prototypical, you gotta have some graffiti, man. There's gotta be graffiti. I don't know what to tell you. My layout, all type of graffiti. Graffiti on the train, graffiti on the walls, murals on the walls. Hell, I'm doing my layout, the bench work is going to have graffiti and tags on there. It's graffiti is part of America. I mean, hell, cavemen been writing on walls since time began. Graffiti is graffiti, and it's here to stay. If you're doing a certain era, like the 20s, 30s, 40s, all that, yeah, there might not be so much graffiti. I mean, some of them dudes tag the walls in the alleys and stuff, but you ain't gonna see it like you see it now. I'm doing a building, you know, that graffiti taggers tag. The ones in LA, people tag those, and they got arrested, and whatever the case is. You don't want graffiti on your HO scale layout, and you say you doing modern and you're a rivet counter and you're so prototypical, if you don't have no graffiti, you're just dead wrong. I don't know, y'all tell me, what you think? I feel like you gotta have a little sprinkle of graffiti somewhere on the layout. If you are going for accuracy and you know, you want this to be as real as possible. That's what we do it for, right? We want to show the realism. That's why they make these $3, $4, $5, hell, $1,000 engines sometimes, to be as real and accurate as possible. You gotta have that graffiti on there. Period. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments, man, what you think? You think besides someone that's their layout and they can do what they want, everyone, we all know that. Everyone says that, right? Put some tags out there, man. You'll be all right. You won't die. It's your layout, do whatever. What I do want to show you guys is how I do graffiti on a concrete wall. That concrete wall that I did the video of a few weeks ago, there's going to be several of those, and I actually went ahead and recorded and shared my thoughts and my process of how I do that. So I want to dig a little deep and take my time with this video. So it may be a little lengthy, but I think you'll find some good gems in there. So without further ado, get into it. All right, so let's set this up on how I do this. This is someone else's work, but I liked it, so I wanted to use this as reference. and I just look at shape. So the green part first was how I block things out. That's what I see. And then I'll go even further and block out with that purple, like define more shapes with that. So when I'm doing this, that's what I see as far as replicating another piece of graffiti. And all these things can be found, these pieces can be found at Google. So yeah, I want that piece on this slab of concrete. And right now this pencil is very light. It's I want to say it's a 2H or something like that. So I know the pencil is super light, but I went back and grabbed an actual black color pencil so I can see the lines a little better here. And I'm gonna have to say up front, this video is probably gonna be a little lengthy than normal than my other videos, because I want to show how long, or very close to how long, this process takes to do a decent piece of graffiti on a wall, right? There is no quote unquote scale graffiti size, so let's debunk that whole scale, HO scale, O scale, whatever scale you're doing. Their graffiti as big as a building can be, however, whatever the size you want, that's graffiti, right? Again, I just want to show that this process takes quite some time, and there may be a few things here and there where I time lapse some of this stuff, but for the most part, I want y'all to see that this is a process. You know what I'm saying? Like, for it to be as crispy and clean and, you know, almost a duplicate or replica of what I'm doing by looking at another person's artwork. And one, I have no idea who this person is, but it looks like it spells KRS-One. If anyone out there watching this video knows who this may be, feel free to tag them or tell me so I can give them credit whenever I do post on other platforms. But it's a process. It's a long, I ain't gonna say long, but it's definitely time consuming, right? I'm still just blocking out letters. So with that lighter pencil that I was using the first time, and I chopped some of that video because you just really couldn't see anything I was doing. I could see it, but I changed to this black pencil so you guys can see it here on this video. But I blocked everything out. I also look for, when I used to do drawing lessons, and I was teaching people how to draw anatomy a while ago, I would always use reference points too, right? So even when I'm blocking certain things out and just getting the overall shape of whatever it is I'm drawing, I use reference points. So like, you know, the beginning of that letter, there could be another point to where the T or whatever the other letter is, I want to match it up with the same height almost, if that makes sense. So I want conformity in a sense, if you will. Like, although graffiti is very unconformed, the way I see it in my brain is that I'm using these reference points to keep everything in shape, right? So like if you start really big, you know, a big piece on one end, it could taper down to a smaller piece, or it can just keep getting bigger and bigger. And that's where I start using those reference points and those reference marks to show that I'm still staying within the correct size, if you will, the correct proportion. That's the word I'm looking for. And I'm just taking my time, making sure each line is where I want it. This it's no race, right? And I don't want to. I've never been one to crush anyone's pipe dreams or diss anyone's artwork. I teach art, so. But you can tell when someone just sloppily does something, or they're really taking their time and trying to get better and stuff like that. So it's all at the prep work. You can't just go right in with marker, and think you're gonna come out with a Van Gogh. You seen that the first part of the video, I started with the actual piece of work and kind of broke that down. I look at the artwork for quite a while. Whatever I'm doing, whether I'm drawing bodies or hands or whatever, in this case graffiti, I look at the actual thing that I'm drawing for, I don't know, sometimes a few days. I'll grab a bunch of stuff and start sorting through it and like, oh, I like this one. So, I don't look at it 24/7, but when I'm at my desk or something like that, I'll just pull it up and it'll be sitting in the background and I'll look at it again, do my work, come over and look at it again. I want to get that image etched in my brain. So when I do put it out physically, I've already seen it in my mind's eye, if you will. And honestly, this is, as far as the level of difficulty on this piece of graffiti, is probably anywhere from a 6 to an 8, somewhere around there. It's a technical piece of graffiti. But again, you can do it with whether it's bubble letters or even just, tagging stuff. And so, graffiti has all type of different languages and bombs and, should I say bomb? I don't know if I can say that. I said it, so we'll see if YouTube takes us down. I'm talking about graffiti and not harming anyone. Throw ups is another one. Tagging. So this is a throw up, if you will, and it's quite difficult. I would not suggest this being, if you're really wanting to learn how to do graffiti and have a few pieces on your layout. Your layout doesn't have to be like mine, where there's just graffiti everywhere. But if you're wanting to learn, and this is not one of the pieces to do that, but the process is the exact same thing. You just take your time and look at it some more, lightly sketch it out. Heck, you can even start with, obviously on paper, even before you get to this process. And now, yes, the process becomes even longer. But again, we're not in any race to get any of this done, unless you're doing this for, work or something. And when I mean work, you're like, because I get several people that want me to do graffiti on their box cars and stuff like that. So yeah, you don't want that process to stretch too long. But if this is personal and this is for you, I practice on paper, practice, on an iPad or whatever you got, what I'm saying, before you even get to this point. Practice it a little bit, and then go from there. And so now I went to this Micron pen. So we're at the third writing utensil. So I started with that very light 2H, I think, pencil. Then I went to the color pencil, which was just a straight black one. And now I want to see it even more. So now I went to a very thin tipped micron. And these come in all different shapes and sizes. I think I got some of those out there on my Amazon store. Check those out. Those are really good for, honestly, quite a few different things, but that's what I'm using here. And so now I'm really defining the lines and where I want stuff to live permanently, if you will. I was happy with the black color pencil that I used. So now I'm just going in and really anchoring down, nailing down each of the lines and where I want them and stuff like that. I think my AC is about to turn on, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. I will try and speed some of these up. Again, I really just want to show how long some of this stuff takes. Not only is this a difficult piece, this is a bigger piece. And I think I talked about it a little bit at the beginning here. Graffiti has no size. I cannot reiterate that enough. You'll probably hear me say that a few more times throughout this video, but there is no size for graffiti. I understand where people are coming from when they say scale graffiti, because most graffiti is done at a level of how high the person can raise their hand, right? Cool. Whatever. I graffiti when I was younger, right? I'll still tag some stuff here and there, but where I tag, it's legal to tag the certain areas where I go and tag, but we would take ladders with us. You know what I'm saying? We would take a bunch of ladders or milk crates and stand up and get even higher. So there is no real scale to graffiti. I mean, especially if you're talking about murals on that. Philadelphia probably has some of the dopest murals that are out there. And they take up the whole side of the building. I mean, at the end of the day, that's graffiti. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now someone, if you're doing a portrait or something, then yeah, that's really dope. But I mean, it's still graffiti, and it's taking up the whole side of a building. I've seen train cars that the whole side is tagged up. So there is no scale graffiti. Get that out of your brain. But I will say, if you are getting something out of this, please like, subscribe, share, so you get all the notifications, right? Cool. Boom, here's the markers that I use. This is probably the best set of paint markers that I've got in a long time. The tips are super fine, and you can do some really good detail here, right? And that's kind of what we're going for. If we're doing this type of stuff and we're trying to be as prototypical as possible, you need fine tip markers, and these paint markers are like the witch's tit. I love these markers. I wish there was different colors in this style of marker. I've been looking around in different art stores and all that stuff, and there are some Molotov, I think I'm saying that right. They have thin tips and stuff like that, but those are pretty hard to come by. I would assume I may look on their website or something and see if they have different colors, but for this video and for right now, we using Posh is what I call them, but those are the markers we're using. I think those are in my Amazon store too, if you want to grab some of those. Actually, I'll leave a link to my store below. You guys can check that stuff out in there. Excuse me. I'm gonna grab me a little bit of coffee here and get my throat right. And here again, you know, I'm just doing more detail work, if you will, right? I'm making sure each of these lines are going to live where they're supposed to live. With this marker, with these markers, the colors, all that stuff, I want to be very precise on when I'm doing this stuff. And I think I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here because we are almost kind of watching paint dry, right? Because I want to get to the part where I am actually lining. And if you hear my mouse clicking, I'm skipping. So some of these things I'm going to do time lapse. I'm gonna speed some of this stuff up, but I think you guys get the gist of the colors and stuff like that. I think also with some of this, I'm going with different colors, right? So I want some different tones, and looking at the actual reference. I thought this red was going to work out right, but it didn't work out like I wanted it to. So you'll see where I go over it again and change it to a really nice pink color, if you will. All right, and so here's where the rubber meets the road, right? You can get away with sloppy colors. You can get away with, you know, not so tight line work as far as getting those colors in the lines. And, you know, the whole thing of not coloring in the lines and you being you. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. You do you. This is me teaching what I do. And doing this black work makes or breaks any graffiti piece. I follow a lot of graffiti artists on Instagram. I look at a lot of graffiti, and by far, you know, they'll fill in with different color paints and fades and all these different things. But when it comes to that line work, to bring it all together, that's where the money is made. Line work. I'm a tattoo artist. I could fade and do all type of shading and blah blah blah. If that line work ain't clean, you not getting no repeat customers, is what I'm saying. Line work, line work, line work. Make sure that line work is tight. And that's just, again, you got to practice it. You know, you just can't do it a few times and think it's going to look like this and not my stuff, but just any clean piece of work. And again, I'm not here to crush anybody's pipe dreams. I know we all at different levels of whether it's talent, as far as music, singing, art, all that. We're all different. We're all at different levels, you know. Art is very, what's that phrase I'm looking for? The words, subjective, right? You know, someone may look at it and be like, yo, that's the dopest thing. Someone else may look at it and be like, you might want to go back to the drawing board, right? So when I look at others' art and stuff like that, I'm not one to like put someone down. if they ask for critiques or, how they could get better, it's always going to be line work. The line work right off the rip is what I'm looking at. So, so when I'm doing this line work, I'm also cleaning up, any color that may have went outside the line. That black work helps tie everything together and helps it be tight, and there's an actual form happening now, right? And again, I'm just using regular paint markers, nothing special. I think this is also Pascal or something, whatever the name of that brand is. But this is a super fine tip. So the other ones are fine tips, but this black one, so that's what I was getting at. I was hoping that they had these even sharper tips in different colors. I can't find any different colors of this tip except black and white. The white typically clogs up for whatever reason. I want to say because of that pigment, the white is made out of something different. I don't know, but it's all about line work and just taking your time. I don't think I'm gonna speed this one up because I want you to see how deliberate and slow that I'm pulling these lines. And when I pull lines here, it's like I'm pulling lines for when I'm tattooing. Very slow, very accurate. I'm looking a little bit past where the actual tip of the pen is, if that makes sense. So the pen gets put down here, and I'm looking a little forward past where that line is going to end. And so now my hand already knows to kind of just flow with what I've already seen. I don't know. I don't want to really be like trying to make this scientific or nothing, but that's just the way I do it. I think honestly, for the most part, if you just pull lines slow, take your time, anyone can do this. I always say anyone can draw, right? It's like Ratatouille. I don't know if you guys seen that. That's one of my favorite cartoons, right? Movie cartoons. And the whole thing was anyone can cook. You get people like, I couldn't cook hot dogs. Yeah, you could. Do you want to cook? That's the real thing. You got to be honest with yourself. I feel like anyone can draw. If that's what you really want to do and you put your mind to it, you can do it. And if you don't, that's fine. Nothing against it, but like anyone can cook, anyone can draw. Take your time, put the time in and do it. Again, some of us, it comes quite natural to do this stuff. And that's where I may have a little advantage over some people, and I get that. But hell, even I still have to practice. I practice pretty much daily, just drawing constantly. But if I was like, yo, I want to sing, I'll sit there and practice. If I want to play the guitar, I taught myself how to play the guitar. I had some really cool people helping me, but I could play 2 songs. Never could play the instrument or any instrument. And, I think, and I feel myself rambling. And I think this is almost over anyway, but you can do this. Take your time. If you got any questions, hit me up. And maybe I can help you. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard. The hard part is telling yourself you can do this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's it. Once I got done with the black lines, I kind of just, added a few little bells and whistles here, some highlights, and some dot work and polka dots in the bottom purple part, but that's kind of where I ended up with this. I was very pleased with this. I got a bunch more to do, and maybe I'll do some more videos of graffiti. Maybe I'll do some lives. I don't know, something. But yeah, this is the finished piece. Very pleased at how it turned out. So let's finish up the video. And yo, so that was the video of me explaining and going through, hopefully pretty thorough, of how I go about my process in doing a graffiti piece. So like I said, just probably a little lengthy, but like I stated in the video, I wanted to show actually how long per se the process takes to do this. My whole thing, the wall, the retaining wall and all that, it's gonna have graffiti everywhere. So I hope you guys got something out of that. Just take one little bite, one little step to get closer and closer if you want, to do that a lot. I mean, if you just want a few tags or something like that, you don't have to like become this expert graffiti artist or nothing like that, but you can do it. It's very obtainable, it's doable. The goal is a reachable goal. Even if you want bubble letters, that's another style of graffiti. If you just want block letters, that's, we called it electro rock back in the day, but just a little quick tag, that's graffiti. If you want to do those, that's fine too. But it's doable. Hopefully some of the tips I laid out, you can, use that to get better or add to your arsenal of what you already do. So I want to thank my Patreons, man. I got quite a few new folks that want to support, and you know what, I appreciate that, man. Patreon is growing. I'm posting regularly finally, and on Patreon I post like different angles and different pictures or videos sometimes of it may be the same work, but there'll be different angles, and then I'll talk a little more or type whatever a little more about how I've done what I'm doing. So YouTube, you get like that long version, right? Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, you get those real quick. Patreon, there's a little, I can mess around and really explain, tools I use, the materials, my thought process on stuff. So yeah, if you want to support, man, with the rest of the people that's, showing some love, I think I'm gonna put the link below. And if you want to support, you don't want to support, whatever. I thank those people though. I appreciate y'all. I have no idea what the next video is going to be. Maybe a layout update. Because I have been doing quite a bit, like, even though it's in smaller areas now, I think it'll be worthy enough of doing a video, a layout update. So I may do something like layout update, something. Layout update, then another video. Layout, so I don't, who knows, man. Just watch whatever these next videos they tell you to watch, and I'll see y'all next time, man. Appreciate you. Peace.